item is approval of minutes from the previous meeting. We have the minutes from our February 24th meeting. Do we have any changes to those minutes? Do we have a motion to approve those minutes as presented?
Also moved.
Motion, have a second.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Next item is approval of the agenda. We have 10 items. I would like to ask that we add as item 11 that we go into executive session. We have to discuss pending litigation.
Correct.
To discuss pending litigation. Any other changes before we proceed? Motion to approve the agenda with that change. Motion, we have a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Okay. Have no awards or presentations. Have we had anyone sign up to speak this evening?
No.
We'll move, no old business, move on to new business. And the first item is motion to approve changing the location of the March 24th meeting to the Bridgeport Community Center. We had previously announced that we'll have our community meeting following our regular meeting at the community center there. We will need to vote on that to make that official, so we have a motion to approve that change. Motion with a second.
Second.
Any discussion? This is our District 1 community meeting, so we hope to see a good group of folks out there. We'll have a regular meeting, like I said, and then discuss as we have another community meeting. Some of the different things we've been discussing throughout the year and what we're looking at going forward. Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Okay. Next item, motion to approve and let bids for the community storm shelters. We have 2 shelters that were presented to us at the previous work session. So before we have any further discussion, we have a motion to approve authorization for putting these out to bid.
So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? These bids will come back to us once they've been received for final approval. Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Okay. Next item is regarding the proposed dangerous animal ordinance. You have the latest copy now before you. So before we proceed with the vote, let's make sure if there are any other questions or comments on this. I think this copy addresses some of the concerns that were brought up in the previous work session. Is that correct?
It does. Actually, paragraph, I can't remember, it's Roman numeral 2, sub I, on page 4, talks about the issues that were brought up last time about taxing the cost. And it provides that only if the animal is found to be a dangerous animal or there's some other violation of the ordinance and the animal owner be taxed with the cost. And then, other than that, it's up to the judge's discretion whether he tax it to the complaining witness or not.
Okay. Any other questions or comments before we proceed?
This document is amendable.
Oh, it is, and that is a good question. Once it's adopted, the commission can amend it. You can't think of everything. So something may come up and it needs to be addressed in the future. It may find that part of this doesn't work for some reason, or there may be another exception. It can be amended after it's adopted. It's not set in stone for eternity.
Any other questions or comments? I will entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? This Sailor's been working on this for a year, so I'm glad that we're able to get something done, and hopefully for the benefit of the citizens of Jackson County. I think it'll be a great benefit. Anything else? Okay. Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Okay. Next item, motion for decision on our retirement incentives. You all have a copy, should have a copy of the resolution. Does everyone have a copy of that? I think I handed it out to you earlier regarding retirement incentives. And if you would, Mr. Porter, quickly run through this.
Follows up on the discussion of the commission last week and some other discussions that have occurred from time to time during the commission meetings. The resolution will be adopted if it is approved to provide a retirement incentive benefit, and it will apply to county employees who are currently eligible for retirement, or else will be eligible within the next 12 months. An employee who is eligible for retirement is defined, and basically, some of you may remember, several years ago, almost 10 years ago now, 9 years ago, we had an issue regarding employees who had been employed at other locations and then came to the county and were eligible for retirement when they tacked on their state work or their city work or things like that. And so the commission at that time defined county employee eligible for retirement as having been employed in the county, on county service, for 10 years, and then being 60 years of age, or else having served for 25 years in the county's employment regardless of age. So that's the employees that would be eligible. So if an employee becomes eligible in the next year, then they could take advantage of this incentive.
And I think the percentage, we've looked at several percentages, and I did have a copy of those numbers. Everyone needs to take another look at those. I think 15% was the number that we had looked at and discussed. So that does need to be filled in on this item.
It does.
Is that the only other item that needs to be filled in?
Yes, sir.
Questions or comments before we proceed? Based on that form, you can see what the 15% would look like. If there's a need to change it, we need to make that note now. Any other questions or comments? Okay, so we have the resolution. Again, this begins next Monday, the 17th, and will take place 30 days from that point. Any eligible employees will need to make their make note that they're wanting to take this course.
Correct. And they need to be advised that, just so they're not in confusion, that if the commission adopts this, then even if they're not eligible for retirement now, but become eligible in 6 months, they still have to give notice within that 30 days. They can't wait until they become eligible 6 months from now and then give notice. This is a 30-day window of opportunity that will be open to those employees that are either already eligible to retire or will become eligible to retire in the next year. But it's still a 30-day window. If they miss the 30-day window, then they don't get the incentive unless the commission were to
Could we have
change it.
personnel committee to make sure that everybody that's going to be eligible has something in there? Take that for them.
Yeah, we can get something out this week.
What do you think about maybe doing the 20% with the cap like he's got here for a lower paid individual? You know, it would actually give them more incentive to want to, you know, get involved in this also.
That's a possibility.
Maybe do 20% across the board with a cap of 15.
Any other thoughts on that? Any objections? Where would we need to place that? We have equal to 20%, not to exceed.
Not to exceed $10,000.
The way I see it, there's only two eligible that would be over.
That's here within this. This doesn't include the entire, if anyone's eligible within the next year, this doesn't include those. Okay. Any objections to that then? Not to exceed 10. Okay. Any other changes or comments before we proceed? Okay, so what we have on the table before us then is a resolution regarding retirement incentive with an amount equal to 20% of the employee's annual salary, not to exceed $10,000. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution with that change.
Also moved.
Have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion on this? We've got a week, hopefully this will be out in the papers and we will have something, like I said, these employees in the paychecks and maybe a quick note in all paychecks so that anybody that's eligible can take a look and see if this is something they're willing to participate in. Okay, anything else?
One other thing, when we talk to these employees, they have to choose the earliest date that they would be eligible. So that somebody who was going to retire later in the year, they have to retire as soon as they are eligible. So if they become eligible, let's just say in June, they'll have to retire in June. And the reason is, the purpose of this resolution and offering this incentive is to compensate folks for early retirement, so we can save some money, not reduce their pay. Exactly, reduce pay, that's what it says.
Anything else? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Next item, motion to surplus and abandoned boat at the Jackson County Park. You have in your packets information on the boat we discussed last week in the work session. So we have a motion to approve this item, the surplus, so that it can be disposed of.
So moved.
Motion to have a second.
Second.
Unless disposed of, I mean, we will sell it, break it down, try to sell it the best way we can, correct? Okay. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, say no. Okay, next item, motion to decide on the 2014 paving plan for the county roads. You have in your packets the plan that was presented to us previously, and I believe it was mentioned that we go with the fourth item on there. Mr. Whitener, you had an alternative proposal. Would you like to share that?
Well, yeah, proposal or suggestion. We look at this, if we go to everything ranked like forward and below, we're gonna be looking at about $400,000 payment. Looking at funds and not really realizing how much some other things are gonna be costing, one particular A-trip and other stuff we're taking out of 116. Felt like we might ought to maybe back up just a little bit and then let's do some of this other, and then maybe later on we'll change this. But I think I talked to each of them individually. What I would suggest is that we look at doing, and I'm just going to give you the road numbers. And of course, we broke out the districts. In District 1, doing County Road 161, 289, and 713. And that would be at a cost of about $90,000. In District 2, we've got Sparkman Drive, which is a cost of $15,000. Commissioner Bellmore asked me to let's look at doing some what we call strip paving on County Road 53 and 54, which is up in Little Coon, Big Coon, I think y'all more familiar with it, called that. That would get our cost up in District 2 to about $40,000. In District 3, doing only the roads that are ranked at 3, and that would be at a cost of about $73,000. And then in District 4, and I named those roads, I'm sorry, it'd be 145. We had to break it out into 8. It's actually all 145. We broke it out because of the different type of treatments we'd have to put on it. And that would be $73,000. And then in District 4, County Road 7 would cost about $67,000. Add all those numbers up, we're about $275,000. And I said, we'd like to do all of it if the commission approved, but that's just a suggestion. And talking to the chairman and the funds is a little bit negative.
Okay. So we have the two proposals. One would be for all the ones ranked 4 or below, and that would cost us $390,000, or we have what was just presented at a cost of $275,000. Our estimated revenues for the fund that this would be paid for out of 116 of $300,000 for this year. I think we budgeted less than that, but if we go historically, I believe we'll get somewhere around $300,000. So,
Mr. Chairman, I think we should go with Mr. Widener's, way. It seems like it breaks it out, because the first way is, more of my roads are, and if it's made more fair throughout the county, I think the way he's doing it would be more fair to spread the cost out, as even as we can throughout the county.
we'll make that in the form of a motion.
I'll make it a motion.
Okay, we have a motion to go with the $275,000 plan. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Comments, questions?
If we see that, we can do more, what the latest we can pay, when, if we see in July or August that we're gonna have enough funds, then we'll be able to pay.
Probably only into September, depending on the weather, but we need to, we'll start getting these roads ready now. Of course, I've got to get with the crusher and get the rocks crushed at that time and all that, so I'm saying if y'all could make a decision, if you wanted to add in maybe by the end of May, at the latest, then we can probably go ahead, provided it's not quite a lot. And I would like to say, I named the roads over, we're talking about 275,000. This type of work, a lot of times we're running into things, and I try to add it up to it, to take care of any things you might find in the field, but that would be an approximate cost, but those roads would be the ones we do, and hopefully we'll stay right around in there somewhere. I'd hate to sit there and say we're gonna spend 275 to do these, but those roads that I named would add up to it, that's what we're trying to do.
Mr. Wilder, would you remind, the folks that A-Trip is gonna pave how many roads? This is in addition to A-Trip.
This is.
Just so folks know, this is not our total paving.
No, so this got, this is all county local funds, paid out of our county gas tax revenue,
Yes, sir.
our 116 fund.
Any other questions or comments? So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Okay. Next item is motion to authorize the county engineer to purchase 2 dozers. And if you could again, Mr. Wagner, specify the total amount necessary for that purchase.
Yes, sir. And again, we still have not been able to put our hands on these dozers and see them. We just need to be ready to move on when they come through a debt surplus. And the total cost would be for both of those, which one would be about the size of a D7, another about the size of a D3. It's estimated to be right at 35,000, maybe 36,000, right in that neighborhood, time to get them hauled or whatever. But like I said, this would be contingent upon, I want to take my shop forward and look at them and be sure they're mechanically sound. But we'd just like to get the approval, so if they, when they do get here, we can get down and look at them and let them give them an answer that day.
And Fund 100 is what we had discussed will pay for this.
That's correct, yes,
So
sir.
what we'll need to do if we proceed with this, we'll authorize for the cash balance for up to $36,000 for cash balance to purchase these once they've been inspected and if they meet the final approval. We have a motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this, further discussion? And once received again, one of these, the larger dozer, we will surplus.
We're going to surplus it just as soon as we can.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, say no. Next item, motion to concur with the previous decision regarding County Road 33. Mr. Whiter, if you would present that.
As y'all recall, I mentioned this initial resolution was passed under the A-Trip program, phase 1 back in March of 2012, resolution number 202. At that time, the first phase A-Trip was being handled exactly like our federal projects is handled, and we're actually trying to pay 33 using our federal project money, so the state has agreed to go ahead and let us use all the paperwork we've done turned in, so we don't have to start over from scratch to get it in. I just need approval from y'all, so that this commission agrees with this resolution. The only difference is, and I talked to the state about this, if we approved it under A-Trip, we're going to do the whole 8 miles, Commissioner Dillon. I know we talked about this, we're going to do part of it this year, this year's going to be part of it next year. So they said as long as we've got 8 miles in this resolution, they said they don't care what we make it as long as it's under that. So we've looked since last Monday, we've actually looked at it and tried to do some estimates and some quantities and everything. Probably not gonna make it hard all the way to County Road 54, do back this side a little bit, but we feel like that'll be, we'll be able to, that's about 3.5 miles, so we're gonna do about 4.5 from next, but a lot of our money's gonna be spent, of course, the wide area of 72 starting off and up through the school. You've got, we're gonna have to be paving 10-foot shoulders in addition to paving, and we got to do some milling to get it, flush with the curves and everything that takes place there, so we're gonna make it about 3.5 miles on this one, that's what we're anticipating, and we'll tie that in a little further as we go, but, that's about what we're going to do.
So do we have a motion to concur that previous resolution? Authorizing this?
I'll make that motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Next item is motion to concur with Aldott in the award of the project, ACRIT project regarding the bridge on County Road 151. We received this today, is that correct, Mr. White?
That's correct, I received the fax this morning.
Okay. And this will commit county funds of $204,568.75 towards this project, the total project being just over $1 million. If we approve this tonight, I would ask that we continue the meeting to next Monday night so that we can pass a resolution. These funds will have to be provided out of 116 until the loan has been finalized, and we are in the process of working on that. I just want to ensure that any money spent out of 116 for ACRIT will be paid back by that loan. So, any questions or comments before we proceed? This is the first time we've had this. Anything else to add, Mr. White?
No, I would say this is our first agreement replacement project under ACRIT, and we've got 2 more after this. Our estimate, I know we talked about estimates for the funds and all, when we was getting a loan and everything, our estimate was, we'd estimated about $1,020,000, $1,022,000, so it's pretty close. I'm proud of the guys for doing that, they got real close on it, so we're still running on about the right amount of match money that's going to be required.
And this project will be awarded to Miller & Miller Incorporated of Huntsville, Alabama. That's what we received from Alabama. Any other questions or comments before we proceed? Do we have a motion to concur with Aldott on the project award?
Make that motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Next item is motion to authorize the chairman to enter into a proposal regarding the rental of boats at the park facility. You have a copy of the proposal in your packets. This was an updated proposal from last week, so before we proceed with any votes, discuss this proposal. Any questions or comments on this item? Now I would ask that if we approve this tonight, again, authorize myself and Mr. Porter to work up an agreement in accordance with this proposal and any other necessary items that need to be included and be presented to the vendor that's wishing to come in and do this project.
Us being named the additional insured, Mr. Porter, that doesn't guarantee us not to be named in the suit if something happens, correct?
No, it just means that you would be a primary designee on the policy so that you can be insured just like the operator would. And their insurance would take care of any defense and the payment rather than us having to rely upon the county's insurance.
Other questions or comments? Any other questions? Okay. If we have none, again, I'd like to ask that we have, if we're going to move forward with this, that it be a motion to authorize myself to enter into the agreement once Mr. Porter and I have put together that contract based off of this proposal. You have that motion?
Make that motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Further discussion? We'll have that, try to get that together this week sometime and get an email out to everybody so they can take a look at it. If everything goes well, we maybe can have this done by Friday, but we want to make sure everything's correct in that, so we'll try to get that outlined. Okay. Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Next item is the executive session.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so at this time, we'll entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss pending litigation. Have a motion, we have a second. Okay. Any discussion?
The minutes should reflect that there's an exception to the Open Meetings Act, we will move it and go into executive session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation.
Motion and a second, all those in favor say aye. Okay, we